There is a specific type of woman who commands attention without the need for a loud voice. She doesn't pursue notice, yet it naturally comes her way. She doesn't select her clothing to impress others, yet people inevitably observe her upon entering a space. She might not be the youngest person in the area. She might not conform to all conventional standards of beauty, but she possesses something far more potent, an uncopyable aura and an undeniable presence. Carl Jung asserted that genuine attraction isn't derived from the physical body. It stems from the psyche. The factor that makes a woman memorable isn't the contours of her face or the flawlessness of her skin. It is, rather, the energy she gives off, the level of awareness she embodies, and the maturity of her internal world. A mature woman who has accumulated life experience, who has healed, and who has emerged from her own struggles carries a magnetism that youth alone can never generate. Consider this. Why are some women quietly captivating while others exhaust every effort and still feel overlooked? Why do certain women navigate life with a tranquil self-assurance that ignites curiosity in others? Men desire her not merely for her appearance. They are drawn to her because she evokes emotion in them, because she stimulates a dormant feeling, and because her sheer presence effortlessly alters the atmosphere. Attraction is neither chance nor an accident. It is a discipline. It is the cumulative effect of routines that influence the energy a woman broadcasts daily. Habits that transform her into someone compellingly irresistible. Someone who doesn't seek love because love is naturally drawn to her. She is someone who doesn't feel the need to validate her worth because she already personifies it. In this discussion, you will uncover 7 practices that render a mature woman truly irresistible. 7 intrinsic qualities that elevate her impact well beyond physical beauty or age. 7 expressions of feminine strength that any woman can cultivate, irrespective of her current phase of life. And if you remain with me until the conclusion, you will grasp the ultimate secret among them all, the final practice that elevates typical attraction to an unforgettable level. Now take a moment to breathe, calm your thoughts, and let us commence with the initial practice that distinguishes a woman who tries to be noticed from one who simply cannot be overlooked. Before anyone registers the hue of your lip color or the material of your clothing, before they scrutinize your hairstyle or the minutiae of your attire, they perceive something far more subtle and significantly more potent: your confidence. Confidence constitutes the very first form of communication the human mind processes. It communicates before your lips part, it arrives before your initial stride, and it remains long after you have departed a space. Carl Jung once proposed that a person's posture reveals the sincerity of their internal state. A confident woman has no need to announce her arrival because her very presence possesses its own voice. This is the reason why confidence becomes perceptible even when she is silent. It is evident in her gait, which is composed and grounded. It is visible in the way she views the world, steady and fearless. It is apparent in her demeanor, as if she understands that she belongs precisely where she stands. Envision 2 women entering the same setting. One might possess perfect beauty according to conventional standards, but her shoulders are tense and slightly hunched. Her gaze avoids contact. Her movements betray uncertainty. The second woman might not align with every conventional definition of attractiveness. Yet, she moves with a gentle resolve. Her back is straight, her chin subtly raised, and her steps are intentional. Her eyes meet the environment with tranquil assurance. She isn't loud, yet she is unmistakable. The second woman captures attention effortlessly because she embodies confidence from her core outward. Others are drawn to her, not because she demands admiration, but because she radiates acceptance of herself. She transmits an unstated message that declares, "I recognize who I am, and I require no one's permission to live fully." That message is impossible to forget. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. Every individual experiences fear and uncertainty. Confidence is the deliberate choice to proceed with self-respect, despite these feelings. It is the practice of reconnecting with your inherent worth even after life has attempted to make you forget it. It is the quiet resistance of refusing to diminish yourself for the comfort of others. This is precisely why confidence is magnetic. Men do not merely observe it, they sense it. When a woman stands resolute in her inner truth, she triggers a profound instinct in others. The impulse to respect her, to approach her, and to pay attention to her. Her presence communicates value before she utters a single word. A study carried out by psychologists showed that individuals instinctively attribute higher attractiveness to those who display self-assurance, even if their physical attributes are average. The explanation is straightforward. Confidence alters perception. It modifies how you are viewed. It enhances your aura. It causes you to appear more radiant, stronger, and more captivating. So, how can a woman cultivate this type of confidence in her daily life? Through posture. The physical form reflects the mind, and the mind reflects the physical form. When you walk with your spine erect, your chest open, and your gaze directed forward, your nervous system shifts into a condition of composed authority. You convey to the world that you have faith in yourself, and that signal is returned to you as genuine internal strength. Through your voice. A confident woman does not rush her speech. She does not speak merely to fill quiet moments. She utilizes moments of silence. She takes breaths between her sentences. Her pitch is steady and considered. People pay close attention when she speaks because she communicates like someone who recognizes that her words are important. Through presence. Confidence is not an act. It is presence. It is the capacity to be entirely comfortable in your own being without apologizing for it. It implies you no longer adjust your nature to satisfy the expectations of others. You permit yourself to occupy space calmly, without tension or guilt. This quality of presence draws admiration effortlessly. Through self-respect. Carl Jung once suggested that an individual's posture reveals the reality of their internal environment. A self-assured woman doesn't need to announce her presence because her presence already possesses its own means of expression. This is why confidence becomes noticeable even when she is quiet. It is shown in her composed and firm walk. It is shown in her gaze at the world, which is steady and unafraid. It is shown in her bearing, as if she is certain she belongs in her location. And without uttering a sound, she evolves into the kind of woman others notice right away, even in quietude. Confidence is the first practice that makes a mature woman irresistible. It forms the bedrock for every subsequent practice, and once this foundation is solid, every other aspect of her presence begins to elevate along with it. If you are prepared, let us move on to the next practice. A practice that fundamentally alters the way men pursue you and the way you maintain your own influence in any relationship. There is an understated power that is unique to a mature woman, the capacity to care deeply without losing her sense of self, the capacity to love without being overly dependent, and the capacity to form connections without abandoning her personal identity. This power is referred to as non-attachment. It is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is emotional liberty, and it stands as one of the most compelling attributes a woman can manifest. Most people misunderstand desire. They operate under the belief that the more availability they provide, the stronger the bond will become. However, human psychological principles do not function in this manner. Desire thrives within a delicate equilibrium between familiarity and intrigue. When something is perpetually available, always accessible, and consistently guaranteed, the mind ceases to value it. When something necessitates presence, deliberate effort, and commitment, the mind becomes alert. A woman who does not cling naturally creates this heightened interest. She does not pursue a man. She does not anxiously await his communication. She does not structure her day around obtaining his attention. She operates from her own center, not in reaction to his. And precisely because she doesn't cling, a man feels an inevitable pull toward her. Non-attachment does not signify a lack of interest. It signifies a deep enough understanding of your value that you never entrust it to the keeping of another person. It means you enable a man to approach you instead of attempting to draw him forward. It means you guard your heart with self-respect, not with fear. It means you recognize that a connection is strongest when it is willingly chosen, not forced. Men immediately perceive this energy. When a woman is excessively available, too eager, or too rapidly invested, something in a man relaxes, and not in a positive sense. He perceives no urgency, no requirement for effort, and no motivation to pursue. The sense of mystery vanishes before it even has a chance to develop. But when a woman embodies non-attachment, a completely different dynamic occurs. A man feels the necessity to earn her attention. He feels healthily challenged. He contemplates her. He considers her. He notices the gaps. He notices the quiet. He notices the instances where she is not trying, and he feels compelled to close the distance himself. This is not manipulation. It is a form of harmony. It is the fundamental principle of desire. What is not continuously demanded becomes more precious. What is not taken for granted is treasured. A mature woman understands this instinctively. She doesn't respond instantaneously because she has a full life to attend to. She doesn't modify her plans to be available because she holds her own priorities in high regard. She doesn't fear losing someone because she has confidence that what is meant for her will not depart. Her composed detachment is not a calculated maneuver. It is a reflection of her inner steadiness. How can you nurture this quality in your own life? Return to yourself. Do not permit your emotional core to drift into the hands of another. Do not allow your estimation of your worth to be contingent upon whether someone selects you today. Ground yourself in your established routines, your passions, your friendships, and your sense of purpose. When your life is complete, no man becomes your vital necessity. Allow space. If he withdraws, do not chase. If he is uncertain, do not attempt to convince him. If he is distant, permit the distance to reveal the underlying reality. Space illuminates intent more clearly than words ever could. When a woman refrains from chasing, a man is forced to confront his own desire directly. He must determine if the relationship matters to him, and if it does, he will advance toward you. Release expectations. The greater the number of expectations you establish, the more pressure a man experiences, and pressure extinguishes attraction. Instead, enjoy the current moment. Allow things to develop at their inherent speed. Let the relationship unfold naturally, not according to a predetermined narrative in your mind. Cultivate inner abundance. A woman becomes dependent when she feels lacking. A woman detaches with grace when she feels whole. Read, create, acquire knowledge, explore, and construct a life that feels abundant with or without a partner. When your personal world is already full, any man who enters it must rise to your level. Keep this in mind. A woman who is not dependent becomes irresistible because her actions are motivated by self-respect, not by fear. She does not tightly grasp a relationship. She maintains a firm hold on herself, and that makes her influential. Her presence becomes a deliberate choice, not an appeal. Her energy becomes tranquil, distinctive, and memorable. Non-attachment is the second practice that renders a mature woman impossible to disregard. It alters the perception men have of you and the perception you have of yourself. And now, let us proceed to the next practice, one that defines the visible and energetic essence of an irresistible woman long before she speaks. There is a form of style that cannot be reproduced because it is not superficial. It emerges from within. A mature woman who has found her internal strength doesn't dress to impress the world. She dresses to communicate the truth of who she is. Her look serves as an extension of her inner self, a subtle yet clear indication of self-knowledge and self-respect. Society frequently instructs women that attractiveness is about flawlessness, perfect skin, expensive attire, and conforming to current trends. But a woman who truly comprehends herself understands that style is not about superficial adornment. It is about identity. It is not about attempting to conform to a standard. It is about honoring her core being through the way she presents herself to the world. Consider a woman who enters a room with a presence that gently draws attention. She might not be wearing the most costly garments. She might not adhere to every fashion guideline, yet she appears complete. She appears deliberate. She looks like a woman who is fully aware of who she is and who she chooses to be. This kind of style cannot be acquired. It can only be personified. Why is this important? Because style communicates before language does. People form an initial impression of you long before you speak. They observe your manner of walking, your manner of dressing, and the way you hold your physical form. This is not done to judge you, but to grasp the energy you are projecting. When your style reflects your internal strength, that energy becomes magnetic. A mature woman understands that she does not need to compete with youthful appearance. She only needs to unveil her authenticity. She selects clothing that honors her physique, not the unrealistic ideals of the world. She chooses shades that reflect her emotions and her internal rhythm. She selects materials that make her feel anchored, self-assured, and comfortable in her own being. She cultivates a style that supports her, rather than one that undermines her. This does not imply she must be extravagant or daring. Some women radiate through simplicity, while others shine through refinement. Others gleam through a distinct characteristic that only they can possess. The crucial element is not the appearance. The crucial element is the intention. The crucial element is the harmony between the inner and the outer self. Psychologists have long noted that people perceive someone as more appealing when they seem to be in congruence with themselves. This alignment conveys confidence, clarity, and self-assurance. It communicates, this woman is not trying to resemble someone else. She's not at war with her own image. She's in harmony with herself, and harmony is compelling. How can you foster this kind of style? Understand your body. Appreciate its inherent contours, its strengths, and its distinctiveness. Style begins with acceptance, not with comparison. When you embrace your figure with affection, you naturally choose clothes that emphasize your authentic self. Choose colors that express your presence. Red evokes fervor and vitality. Black conveys sophistication and complexity. White imparts clarity and composure. Earth tones suggest warmth and groundedness. Navy blue reflects intellect and calm authority. Allow color to become a subtle expression of your internal experience. Focus on details that make you feel like yourself. A fragrance that adapts to your mood. A hair arrangement that beautifully frames your features. A slight application of makeup that enhances your inherent radiance instead of concealing it. These minor decisions establish a powerful sense of identity, one that others perceive the instant you enter a location. Prioritize comfort without sacrificing. Elegance. A woman who feels at ease in her clothing emanates confidence effortlessly. Discomfort is obvious. Ease is attractive. Remember that your style is not a costume, it is a mirror. It reflects your development, your wisdom, your maturity, and your sense of self-worth. When a woman masters her style from her core outward, she becomes memorable. Not because she is actively trying to be seen, but because her existence naturally commands attention. A mature woman whose style is grounded in inner strength does not need to articulate her worth. It accompanies her. It is evident in her every breath. It becomes a component of the unspoken communication that makes her irresistible. There is a variety of feminine energy that does not project loudly, does not demand, and does not pursue. It attracts people without exertion. It invites without compelling. It captivates without being conspicuous. This is the energy of a mature woman who has cultivated the ability of being rather than the habit of chasing. It is the quiet influence of presence, gentle demeanor, and internal certainty. Many women misunderstand the essence of femininity. They believe it entails being passive, weak, or overly compliant. But genuine feminine energy embodies none of these characteristics. True feminine energy is not submission. It is not reliance on others. It is not frailty. It is a form of strength that manifests through graciousness instead of dominance, gentleness instead of rigidity, and intuition instead of pressure. A woman who embodies this energy does not move through life attempting to control every circumstance. She does not compete for notice. She does not strive to prove her value through excessive effort. Instead, she generates space. She creates tranquility. She establishes a sense of mystique. Her presence invites questions. Her silence encourages contemplation. Her gentleness awakens desire in those around her. Carl Jung held the belief that feminine energy encompasses the influence of transformation. It is receptive, yet potent. It is delicate, yet profoundly impactful. It is not overt, but it shapes the emotional nature of any interaction. When a woman comprehends this, she no longer expends her energy, attempting to be everything. She permits things to move toward her. This is the antithesis of chasing. Chasing depletes energy. Feminine energy restores it. Chasing generates tension. Feminine energy fosters ease. Chasing signals, "I require you." Feminine energy communicates, "I am complete." A woman who embodies this energy does not seek validation. She accepts admiration naturally. She does not force an alliance. She allows the alliance to mature organically. She does not demand notice. She naturally draws it. Why does this occur? Because feminine energy stirs something fundamental in others. It calls for safeguarding. It motivates admiration. It incites a deep urge to get closer. When a woman becomes overly forceful or controlling, she inadvertently reverses this inclination. She pushes instead of attracts. She mandates instead of invites. She strives instead of allowing. But when she relaxes into her feminine energy, the entire dynamic shifts. Her nonverbal communication softens. Her manner of speaking becomes warm. Her presence becomes magnetic. She listens without impatience. She speaks with composed clarity. She moves with purpose, not haste. She feels anchored, peaceful, and deeply in command without resorting to coercion. How can you foster this irresistible feminine energy? Slow down. Feminine energy resides in composure, stillness, and being fully present. When you rush, you sever your connection to your intuition. When you reduce your pace, you re-establish contact with your innate magnetism. Soften your communication. You do not require aggressive language to be strong. You do not require loudness to be audible. Speak with kindness, stability, and intention. A gentle tone can be considerably more impactful than a raised one. Allow others to take initiative. Feminine energy is receptive. It permits a man to approach, to pursue, and to demonstrate his interest. This is not the same as being passive. It signifies that you trust your value enough to refrain from chasing. Cultivate emotional grace. When something bothers you, pause to breathe before reacting. Respond from a place of clarity, not sudden impulse. Emotional composure is an uncommon and potent trait. It conveys profundity, maturity, and confidence. Embrace your body and your natural rhythms. Feminine energy is grounded in physical manifestation. Walk with elegance, sit with comfort. Allow your movements to be graceful. Awareness in the body generates awareness in the energy. Remember this: a woman who accepts her feminine energy becomes memorable, not through exertion, but through her core identity. She doesn't need to yell to be heard. She doesn't need to chase to be desired. She doesn't need to control to feel protected. She is irresistible because she is in alignment with herself, because she trusts the influence of her presence, and because she understands that feminine energy is not a sign of weakness, but the most profound type of strength. There is an exceptional woman who fascinates not through exuberant speech, but through meaningful quietness. She does not aim to impress with elaborate narratives or dramatic expressions. Instead, she directs a dialogue as a conductor guides an orchestra, with purpose, with pauses, and with presence. This skillful management of conversation is one of the most potent and undervalued forms of feminine magnetism. Many women believe that speaking more will make them appear captivating. But true fascination is not established by volumes. It is established by depth. It is established by how she listens, how she selects her language, and how she employs silence as a mechanism for connection. Intentional quietness is not a void. It is anticipation. It is curiosity. It is an opening that encourages the other person to draw nearer. A mature woman understands that conversation is not a theatrical presentation. It is an artistic skill. It is not about talking without end. It is about speaking with deliberate intent. It is about creating an environment where curiosity flourishes naturally. The most captivating women are not those who disclose every detail about themselves. They are the ones who reveal just enough to stimulate interest, leaving aspects of themselves for others to gradually uncover. Carl Jung held the belief that the human mind is drawn to the unknown, that the unexplored activates the imagination more intensely than the familiar. When a woman preserves an element of mystery in her conversations, she triggers this inherent response. She becomes a person who cannot be fully deciphered in a single encounter. She becomes a presence that lingers in the memory long after the exchange has concluded. How does she achieve this? She uses her eyes. A considered glance, sustained for a moment longer than customary, can communicate more than a complete paragraph. Eye contact, delivered with calm certainty, draws others in easily. It conveys awareness, presence, and emotional richness. She uses pauses. Rather than rushing to fill silent moments, she permits them. She allows a question to settle. She lets her statements resonate. She understands that a judiciously placed pause builds anticipation, attracting attention closer with every passing second. She chooses her words carefully. She avoids excessive disclosure. She avoids rambling discourse. She avoids turning a conversation into an unnecessary confession. She speaks with precision and intent. She provides sufficient information to be understood, but not enough to be predictable. She offers glimpses, not complete exposures. She asks meaningful questions. Her questions are not made out of simple obligation. She asks from genuine intellectual curiosity. She encourages others to disclose information about themselves. She fosters emotional closeness by steering discussions toward aspirations, vision, principles, and more profound personal histories. This makes people feel truly recognized, and feeling recognized is one of the most compelling human experiences. She listens fully. She listens not to quickly formulate a reply, but to genuinely understand. A woman who truly listens becomes unforgettable because most individuals navigate life without ever feeling truly heard. When she listens with her entire presence, her quietness becomes magnetic. She speaks slowly. She speaks slowly not out of idleness, but with deliberation. She recognizes that moderating her speaking speed lends significance to her statements. It establishes a sense of importance, as though every phrase holds deep meaning. Others instinctively pay attention when she speaks because she communicates as someone who values her own voice. She maintains mystery. She does not reveal her entire past history in one evening. She does not immediately share every element of her life. She allows her personal narrative to unfold organically, like chapters in a book that is worth savoring. What she holds back becomes as captivating as what she discloses. This skilled use of conversation transforms her entire presence. She becomes the kind of woman whose words possess a delicate quality, the kind of woman whose comments others mentally revisit later, the kind of woman whose aura expands through subtle means rather than through volume. A mature woman who possesses the wisdom of when to speak and when to remain quiet commands respect without having to demand it. She cultivates emotional appeal without forcing it. She invites curiosity without manipulation. She becomes memorable not through exaggeration, but through poise. Remember this: it is not the loudest voice that captivates. It is the voice that speaks with profound depth, clear intention, and quiet self-assurance. When a woman masters the delicate balance between expression and enigma, she becomes impossible to forget. There is a distinct woman whose presence feels complete even when she is by herself. She does not depend on external notice to feel worthwhile. She does not cling to relationships to feel secure. She does not wait for someone else to choose her before she chooses herself. This woman projects independence, and that independence is one of the most powerful attractants in human psychology. Independence does not signify isolation. It does not mean rejecting love or refusing emotional closeness. It signifies that your identity remains unbroken regardless of who enters or exits your life. It means your happiness doesn't collapse when someone withdraws. It means you build a life so rich and purposeful that anyone who joins it must strive to meet your expectations. A mature woman deeply understands this reality. She recognizes that when she places a man at the core of her existence, she sacrifices not only her strength, but also her charm. When she establishes her own life as her core first, a man inevitably desires to be included in it. Why is independence so alluring? Because it transmits a potent, unspoken message. I am fully realized. I am whole. I desire you, but I do not require you. A woman who desires someone yet is not dependent on them generates a singular dynamic. Her presence feels like a privilege, not something that can be owned. She becomes someone a man chooses repeatedly, not because she clings to him, but because she serves as an inspiration. A woman who is dependent concentrates on what she stands to lose. A woman who is independent concentrates on the person she can become. And this shift in outlook changes everything. Independence is appealing because it signals emotional plenitude, confidence, and self-trust. It communicates to the world that you are not afraid of solitude and that you do not minimize yourself for approval. How can you cultivate this magnetic independence? Have a purpose beyond romance. A woman without a clear purpose can easily become consumed by a relationship because she lacks other nourishment for her spirit. But a woman with aspirations, objectives, interests, and personal missions shines with a distinct kind of intensity. Her life feels significant. Her energy feels vibrant. A man doesn't complete her story. He simply becomes a part of it. Invest in your growth. A woman who constantly develops becomes more fascinating with the passage of each year. She engages in reading, learning, exploration, broadening her intellect and deepening her understanding. This kind of woman is not easily substituted because her depth is uncommon. Growth fosters confidence. Confidence generates attraction. Maintain your social circle. Independence is strengthened through connections, not through isolation. Cultivate friendships with women who support your personal advancement. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage you. When your emotional needs are distributed among friends, interests, and community, you avoid the pitfall of expecting one individual to be your singular source of satisfaction. Protect your boundaries. A woman without boundaries quickly becomes depleted. A woman with clearly defined boundaries earns respect. When you decline something with clarity, when you withdraw from disrespect, and when you refuse to accept anything less than what is consistent with your self-worth, You project a strong internal signal. You demonstrate through your conduct that your spirit cannot be bought with mere fragments. Cultivate emotional stability. An independent woman does not permit temporary feelings to jeopardize long-term self-respect. She knows how to breathe before reacting. She knows how to step back before succumbing to desperation. She knows how to comfort herself without requiring constant reassurance. This self-control is not only mature, but is also irresistible. Live a life you enjoy with or without a partner. Visit locations you appreciate. Participate in activities that bring you happiness. Follow your innate curiosity. When you genuinely value your own life, you cease to fear loss. A woman who relishes her own company becomes endlessly appealing because her energy is tranquil, grounded, and free from desperation. Independence is not about rejecting the possibility of love. It is about rejecting the notion that your value is dependent on love. It is about recognizing your own inherent power, that you are complete on your own, and that your value is measured not by whether someone remains, but by whether you remain true to yourself. Remember this: a man does not fall in love with a woman who depends on him. He falls in love with a woman who is an inspiration to him, a woman whose independence motivates him to elevate himself, a woman whose self-respect commands admiration, a woman whose internal world is so rich that he feels privileged to be a part of it. Independence is the sixth practice that makes a mature woman irresistible. It transforms her presence into something unforgettable. It converts a relationship into a choice, not a necessity. It empowers her to love from a state of abundant fullness, not from a painful void. 7. Emotional discipline, the secret weapon. There is a type of influence more subtle than beauty, more compelling than superficial charm, and more enduring than youth. It is emotional discipline, the rare aptitude to experience profound feelings without losing equilibrium, to confront conflict without deteriorating, and to process disappointment without sacrificing self-respect. This is the confidential strength of a mature woman, and it is a major factor in her irresistible nature. Emotional discipline does not signify suppressing your feelings. It does not imply being aloof or unresponsive. It means having the wisdom to manage your emotions rather than letting your emotions control you. It means that your internal life remains stable even when external circumstances are not. It means you thoughtfully respond instead of impulsively reacting. Most people are governed by immediate impulses. When they are hurt, they lash out. When they are anxious, they cling. When they feel inadequate, they demand affirmation. But a woman possessing emotional discipline behaves differently. She takes a moment to breathe before she speaks. She observes the situation before taking action. She reflects before making a decision. Her composed demeanor is not avoidance, it is strength. Carl Jung believed that genuine maturity is found in the ability to withstand pressure without breaking. A woman who has mastered her emotions becomes magnetic because she radiates a sense of stability that others instinctively trust. She does not generate confusion. She does not invite melodramatic situations. She does not escalate minor disagreements into emotional crises. Instead, she provides clarity where others bring complication. Why is this so appealing? Because emotional discipline communicates self-control, confidence, and internal safety. A man does not worry about being misinterpreted by her. He does not worry that every disagreement will turn into a catastrophe. He does not worry that her affection will hinge on his continuous reassurance. Her emotional consistency allows him to feel at ease. It permits him to relax. It makes him feel secure. How does a woman cultivate this type of emotional discipline? She knows how to pause. A mature woman does not reply immediately when she is distressed. She allows the initial surge of emotion to subside. She permits her thoughts to become clear. She waits until she can communicate with clear purpose instead of exasperation. The pause is a sign of wisdom, not frailty. She does not take everything personally. She understands that other people project their anxieties, insecurities, and shortcomings. She does not internalize every harsh statement. She does not interpret every action as a commentary on her self-worth. She views situations with objectivity instead of being clouded by emotion. She sets boundaries. Calmly. Emotional discipline is not a state of silence. It is confident assertion without aggression. She can decline without feeling guilty. She articulates her requirements without raising her voice. She addresses disrespect without sacrificing her dignity. Her voice is resolute and steady, not loud or panicked. She self-soothes. She does not rely on another person to rectify her emotional state. She is capable of comforting herself. She engages in writing, walking, deep breathing, and contemplation. She finds ways to regain composure without demanding someone else manage her feelings for her. This makes her emotionally self-sufficient, and that is profoundly appealing. She releases what she cannot control. She does not become distressed over ambiguity. She does not obsess over potential outcomes. She does not cling to preconceived notions. She comprehends that life proceeds with or without her resistance, and she prioritizes peace over anxiety. Her acceptance fosters emotional liberty. She forgives herself. Emotional discipline necessitates self-compassion. A mature woman does not chastise herself for missteps. She learns, she develops, and she makes adjustments. She becomes more gentle without becoming weaker. Emotional discipline transforms a woman from reactive to luminous, from disordered to stable, and from insecure to magnetic. It bestows upon her an aura of composed strength that others sense immediately. It makes her stand out quietly in an environment filled with impulsive reactions and emotional turmoil. Remember this: physical attractiveness may draw attention for a brief time, but emotional discipline sustains attention for a lifetime. It turns a woman into someone others implicitly trust, admire, and feel secure around. It is the kind of strength that is felt instantly, without the need for proclamation. A woman who has mastered this final practice becomes truly irresistible, not because she makes an effort to be, but because her internal life is steady, deep, and unshakable. A mature woman is not characterized by the softness of her skin or by the duration of her life. She is characterized by the nature of her energy, the clarity of her thoughts, and the complexity of her internal world. Genuine attraction does not diminish over time. It matures, it becomes wiser, it becomes calmer, it becomes more potent. Throughout this exploration, you have examined 7 practices that mold a woman into a truly irresistible individual. Confidence before external appearance, the quiet resilience of non-attachment, a style based in authenticity, the compelling gentleness of feminine energy, the skillful management of conversation and mystery, the independence that inspires admiration, and the emotional discipline that holds everything together with grace. None of these practices demand flawlessness. None of them require perfect beauty. They necessitate awareness. They necessitate presence. They necessitate a readiness to select yourself every single day. When a woman operates from her internal strength, the world feels it. Those in her proximity sense it. Any man who crosses her path senses it. She does not attempt to be unforgettable. She simply becomes unforgettable. Internalize this truth. A woman who recognizes her value changes the environment the moment she enters a room. She does not fight for notice because her energy communicates for her. She does not fear being solitary because she trusts her own company. She does not pursue love because she knows love will naturally gravitate toward those who are in alignment with themselves. If you commence embodying even one of these practices, your presence will be transformed. If you embody all of them, your life will change in ways you cannot yet conceive. Attractiveness is not coincidental. It is a reflection of your internal development. And a mature woman who chooses personal growth becomes more radiant with each passing day. If you are still reading, it suggests that these ideas resonated with you. Therefore, allow me to pose this question. Which of these 7 practices do you feel the deepest connection to? Which one do you intend to focus on first? Please share your thoughts below. Your perspective is more important than you may realize. And if you found merit in this presentation, please remember to like and subscribe. Here, we delve into the profundity of the human mind, the influence of self-transformation, and the inherent beauty of recognizing your authentic self. This journey is merely commencing, and you are not undertaking it by yourself.